Welcome to Bedtime Confessions. Welcome to my bedroom, and welcome to Bedtime Confessions. So, I created a list over here on this beautiful iPad about reasons why you're not improving and why you might be in the same cycle I was in. And let me tell you, it's not fun, okay? It's time to break this cycle. So, let me tell you a few of the ways why you might be subconsciously sabotaging yourself. The first one I want to talk about is you maybe don't want it badly enough. And I think the reason is clear enough. It's that maybe the life that you're trying to create is not the life that you actually want, or that you don't want it that badly, and that you're in this state of comfort and you think that this comfort is good enough and that you're settling for the comfort that you have right now because you're too afraid of stepping out of the comfort zone. But the thing is, I'll tell you the truth, at some point that comfort zone is going to become unbearable. You'll start seeing people move on, doing other things, reaching their goals and stepping out of their comfort zone, and you're here all scared and all hidden in your comfort zone, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I wasting my time? But at the same time, this is comfortable. But at the same time, you want to do more. And then you'll be conflicted all the time about whether you want to step outside of comfort zone or stay inside of your comfort zone. And at some point, it's not going to work anymore. And you'll feel depressed, sad, anxious. You feel like the longer you stay in this comfort zone, the harder it is to break out of it. And so if you feel like that, if you feel like you really want something else for yourself, but the comfort is keeping you stuck someplace because it's comfortable and because you're scared of what could happen outside of the comfort zone, I want you to challenge yourself. Maybe the comfort zone is not the safe space you thought it was. Maybe it's your prison. Maybe that it's keeping you hidden because your brain, the world, other people don't want to see you succeed. But let me tell you, I believe in you, and I know you can do more, and I want you to try it. So maybe in the next few days, try one thing that scares you a little bit. Just try it. No strings attached. Just give it a shot. The second reason why you might not be improving in your life is you are playing the victim card. And let me tell you how many times I have played the victim card. I am a victim queen. I was. Playing the victim is very easy, and it can take a lot of different forms. It can be complaining all the time, seeking advice all the time, but never applying advice, thinking of all the possible ways, or like all the possible reasons why the world is holding you back from what you want. Always putting emphasis on what others have and you don't have, things that people, like coming up with so many excuses of why you don't have the life that you actually want, and put it to tomorrow. It's like statement like, oh, I wish I had this, but blah, blah, blah. Or I can't do it because blah, blah, blah is holding me back. Or, oh, my parents won't let me do that. But always blaming someone else or something else for your discontent and your unhappiness. That's when you know you're the victim. You are the victim when you start putting external factors above what you can do to change your life. I'm just saying that playing the victim is not the solution. Why? First of all, it makes you unhappy. It makes you feel very negative and pessimistic about life. You're not fun to be around, to be honest, because you're bringing that negative energy wherever you go, and you keep complaining and you keep making excuses for yourself. And to be honest, people don't want to be around those type of people, right? So if you feel like you've been playing the victim card a little bit, if your misery is because of everyone else but you, maybe take a look in the mirror. Let me put it this way. Put yourself in another person's shoes and experience it yourself. Would you think that how you're behaving right now feel like a victim? Do you feel like you're always negative? You're always complaining, blaming other people? You want more, but you never do more? You don't change? You just stay stuck in your life? If that applies, then maybe look in the mirror and start thinking differently. Start thinking that you can change and you can actually create the life that you want when you stop using those excuses to not do what you need to do. There you go. I'll leave it at that. I hope it was clear. Okay. So the third reason is, this one's a good one, is you self-sabotage because you're afraid of your best self. This one might be a little complex. I wouldn't say complex. It's pretty straightforward, but the reason why we self-sabotage is because we are afraid of who we're going to become. And that fear is keeping you back. Let me tell you a story time. I have been wanting to lose weight for my entire life. Okay? I'm not overweight. I've never been overweight. But because of circumstances, I've always wanted to lose weight and always wanted to be thinner. And so that led me to develop this goal of wanting to lose weight and reach a certain weight target. And so that goal has been there for my entire life. So let's say 10 plus years. Okay. So I've been actively trying to work towards reaching that goal. But every time I come close to it, like this close to it, there's always something just pushing me back to square one. Every single time. I think at this point, it's like 4 or 5 times already that the cycle has been repeating. So every time I'm like this close, and then bam, I'm back to square one. And it's like, I'm aware that it's happening, but then subconsciously, I'm not allowing myself to push past that little bit left to my goal. And so I find myself every time losing the weight, being sometimes I would reach the weight and my goal is to maintain that weight, right? Because I want to be a girl at that target weight for forever. And so sometimes there was one time I reached that goal, and then of course, being happy that I reached that goal, I slacked off on my routines, on my lifestyle that would keep me at that weight, and then bam, I would fall off track and I would go back to either gaining all the weight back or gaining a little more weight and just not maintaining that weight. And so after a few cycles, I'd asked myself, what is the reason behind this self-sabotage? And I figured it out. In my mind, my brain didn't know what was coming after I achieved the goal. That means that I was scared of completing that goal because I didn't know what else to pursue in life if I didn't have that goal to accomplish, because that goal was such a big part of my life because it tied with my nutrition, my workout routine, my daily lifestyle. And so if I achieved that goal, then it's it felt like I didn't have a purpose anymore. And so my brain would subconsciously sabotage me so that I never reached the goal, because then it's still constant in my life. So to understand why I was self-sabotaging, I had to realize that I was scared of the after reaching the goal. So maybe if you're in a cycle similar to this, think about it. Are you afraid of achieving it because it was such a big part of your life and you don't know what's gonna come next? Or is there a deeper reason why you're self-sabotaging? Maybe you don't actually want to achieve the goal that you set yourself. Take a look at your goals. If you have a goal that you've been trying to achieve for a very long time, think about why you're not achieving that goal. Is it because you're slacking off? Is it because you don't generally want to achieve that goal? Or is it because you're scared of what's coming next once you achieve that goal? Fourth reason why you might not be improving your life is because you're living for other people's expectations. This one is a big one that I had to learn the hard way. There will always be expectations from friends, family, society, your dog, I don't know. There's always expectations from everywhere. And until you realize what expectations are your own or everyone else's, you will not improve in your life. Because if you're trying to build a life based on other people's expectations, you will always be unhappy, especially if those expectations don't match the ones that you have for yourself. And so I want you to ask yourself, am I doing this for other people, for the success status, or like the success title? Am I doing this to please my parents? Am I doing this so that I can bring attention to myself or have validation? If you answer yes to any of these statements, then maybe take a look again at what life you're living. Because yes, you could achieve those expectations and be happy. I'm not saying like you shouldn't go for it. I'm just saying that you could be way happier not trying to answer everyone's expectations than your own. If you start listening to yourself and listening to what you really, really want out of your life, let me tell you how happy and stress-free you will be. Because that means that you don't have to live up to anyone else's expectations. So you don't have to like give anyone a rundown of what you're doing. You need to explain yourself because you're doing what you actually want to do. So before you do anything else, I want you to think about it. Think about what life you want for yourself. This is a big one, and trust me on this. Once you start living up to what you want, you will be so much more content, happy, and fulfilled. Now, the last one is a very important one that's more action-based, and one that I feel like a lot of people don't really think about. And the fifth one is you don't have a strong foundation to your life. When I say strong foundation, I mean you don't have a stable routine or a stable lifestyle that can keep you happy and healthy even if everything else crumbles. And let me tell you how important a strong foundation is to your life. So there's maybe 5 to 6 areas in your life. So that would include like health, mental health, finances, relationships, social connections, purpose, like those main areas of your life. The most important area of those categories is health. If your health is not on point, everything else suffers. And in health, I also include mental health because it kind of goes hand in hand. So let me just tell you that for you to really, really improve your life from its core, from the root, health is the root, okay? And then everything else, like finances, social, relationship, blah, blah, is like above the ground. But those roots, if they're not strong, let me tell you, you will crumble. You will crumble so fast because I did so many times. I thought that a relationship could bring me peace and happiness. And it can, but without health, what am I going to do, right? Or I thought that finances could make me happy and satisfied. Well, without health, it's kind of hard to enjoy your money if you can't get out of bed, right? So if you're trying to improve your life overall, start with health. Start with building a super strong foundation, a lifestyle, a routine that works for you and that can be kept throughout your life so that if anything else crumbles, at least you have your health. And if you have your health, if you're healthy physically and mentally, then you can tackle all of the other issues in your life because you have the capacity to do so. You're able to step out of bed, to work out some of the anger that you may have due to some problems at work, for example. Or you're able to handle emotional confrontations, everything else that life throws at you because you have yourself and your health to back you up. So that's the work I'm trying to do with Life by Coralie and Quest Game. I want to build a very strong foundation for my health and for myself, so that everything on top of it is a bonus and is strong and sturdy. And so if everything else crumbles, at least I have myself and I can rebuild. So that is one of the most important reasons why you're not improving in your life, is because you're trying to do everything else but creating that stable foundation. So if you have to start somewhere, start with that. Start with building a sense of self and your health so that you're strong mentally and physically. And after that, everything will be a bonus and it will feel amazing because you're happy. You're already happy and content in who you are. And then on top of that, you'll get success, wealth, friends, lovers, whatever you want. So I'll leave you there because I don't want to chit chat and rumble too much because I could go on for hours, but that's not why you're here. So I hope this advice helped you out, and just don't take things too seriously. Like, yes, take your health, finances, everything seriously, but start to consider other opportunities, other ways you can make your life better that is simple and easy, but will make your life so much stronger and better. I think that, especially in society, there's always a way to do things. And sometimes the way that society tells you to do things is not right. And you know how they say, all path leads to Rome? There's different paths out there. And if one path is not working out, pick another one. If that's not working out, pick another one. Pick another one, another one, another one, until you find the right one. And until you find the one that's destined for you. Because everyone has their path. And it might not look like everyone else's, but don't worry. Don't worry too much about trying to fit in or to look like everyone else. Because they're not you. They're not you. And so that makes their path not yours. So if you copy them, yeah, maybe you could gain some of the results fast and quickly as they did. But at some point, maybe you'll be unhappy because you don't like the lifestyle that sustains those results. Or maybe you'll be unhappy because that's not actually what you want for your life and your lifestyle. So start thinking for yourself because you're capable of it. Trust your intuition, trust what you want, and go for it. I believe in you, and I think that's enough for tonight. It's actually not night. It's bright outside, but you know what I mean. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Bedtime Confessions, and I can't wait to chit chat with you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.